Welcome to Modern Psychedelics, where we explore the transformations made possible through intentional engagement with psychedelics. This podcast will help you integrate high consciousness living into the everyday and deepen the work ignited by altered states. You can expect balanced and grounded conversations around therapeutic, ceremonial, and recreational containers. My name is Lana Pribic, your host and guide. I am a 3-time certified professional life coach, and I work with people who want to integrate higher levels of consciousness into their daily lives so they can feel more peace, fulfillment, and connection. After all, our time here on Earth is so brief, so let's make sure we're really living. The song you hear is called Lost Horizon by Peace Sign. All right, let's journey. Hello and welcome back to another solo episode. I am so excited to record this for you today. We're talking about the 7 levels of consciousness that you need to know if you are on a healing journey or on a journey of transformation. This information is honestly going to change the way that you perceive yourself and the world around you. Not only does the information I'm going to share with you give you an education and awareness of these different levels of consciousness and how we approach life, but it's also going to start triggering insights into some of the limiting beliefs and energetic blockages that might be keeping you stuck in life. I'm going to share with you the 7 levels of consciousness or the 7 levels of energy, using those 2 words interchangeably. And I'm going to tell you about a research validated tool that will help you understand your own energetic profile. So you'll hear more about that towards the end. So this is a tool that is useful for anyone on a journey of personal transformation or healing. And the framework have been used by myself as a core energy coach. And this framework pairs brilliantly with psychedelics. So think of this as a tool like internal family systems. I know a lot of you are on the IFS train and familiar with that. So this is something similar to that in terms of how we would use it in our journey. So the information that I'm sharing here is based on my training at iPEC to become a certified professional coach and an energy leadership master practitioner. It's either my interpretation of the iPEC model or it's coming directly from iPEC's proprietary ELI assessment materials provided to me during my training and upon completion of my certifications. This is really powerful. So let's get into it. And as you can tell, I'm really excited because core energy is my second most favorite topic after psychedelics. So the 7 levels of consciousness comes from iPEC's energetic self-perception chart and the core energy coaching methodology. This is a very practical and very tangible framework for understanding consciousness and perception. To start, we need to understand what we mean when we say the word energy. It's one of those words that can sound really woo-woo. If you have been listening to me for long enough, you know that I'm not really a very woo-woo person. I'm pretty grounded and down to earth. And what I love about this framework is that it actually allows us to understand energy in a very concrete, grounded, and operational way. So there are 2 types of energy that iPEC talks about: anabolic energy and catabolic energy. So catabolic energy, think of it as a destructive tearing down force. I like to think of it as like a downward spiral. It's associated with high levels of stress and judgment. So to quote iPEC, they say that when someone perceives a situation as being stressful, the brain creates catabolic hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. The purpose of these hormones is to break down the body's cells and tissues and provide energy to push through the stress. While people can work well under stress and experience short-term success, the long-term impact can be draining and impact levels of fulfillment and satisfaction. When people experience stress, it is difficult to look past the stressor and see the bigger picture of the situation and the choices that could be available to them, end quote. So anabolic energy, on the other hand, is constructive, healing, productive, and a building up force. I like to think of anabolic energy as this upward spiral. Anabolic energy, as opposed to catabolic energy, is associated with little or no stress and this non-judgment, this open-mindedness. As iPEC says, quote, "This happens because when the brain isn't under stress, it tells the body to release anabolic hormones that are designed to optimize systems. As a result, it's easier to focus on solutions, tap into creativity, and experience a more complete and conscious view of situations. The less judgment and fear people have about themselves and situations, the more anabolic energy they can access. End quote. So whether it's anabolic or catabolic energy that we are bringing to a situation, our energy influences our perception. And this is important because our perception influences our emotions, and our emotions determine the actions we take, and the actions we take in life give us results and outcomes. So this energy stuff, this consciousness stuff, this perspective stuff, it really matters. And taking the time to learn and apply this information is going to start giving you the results and the life that you really want. So now at this point, people are usually starting to think, okay, so catabolic energy bad, anabolic energy good. No. This is not the case. In fact, accessing more anabolic energy is a process of removing all judgments such as good or bad or right or wrong or positive or negative. Both types of energy can actually be really useful in certain situations. For example, catabolic energy can be really useful if, for example, you are working out at the gym. Remember, it's a destructive energy. What happens when you lift weights? Your muscles and tissues literally tear, right? We're using those catabolic hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, to tear through our existing tissue so that the muscle grows back stronger. And in that way, catabolic energy can be very useful. However, imagine that you were working out for 4, 5, 8, 12 hours a day, all of the time, and using that catabolic destructive energy all of the time. Eventually you would wear out. So the main thing to know here is whether we are choosing a energy or a consciousness by choice because it serves us, it's aligned with our intention, it's something that we're consciously choosing to do, or if we're defaulting to an energy because it's what we're used to, because it's what's been programmed. In other words, we want to use our energy in a way that is conscious rather than unconscious and default. So that's really the key here. So there's 7 levels of consciousness outlined by iPEC. Starting at level 1, level 1 is the most catabolic, right? That destructive tearing down energy that you can bring to a situation. And level 7 on the other end of the spectrum is the most anabolic type of energy that you can bring to a situation. Remember, anabolic energy is that constructive, productive, building up, healing force. So there's this continuum where level 1 is the most catabolic and level 7 is the most anabolic. And it's a spectrum that includes 2 catabolic levels of energy, 1 and 2, and then 3 to 7 are anabolic. So let's go ahead and learn about the 7 levels of energy one by one. Now, this is a lot of information for you guys, but I promise you it is going to be so insightful and give you so many light bulb moments. When I started doing this work and applying it to my own life, wow, the shifts just started happening, especially when I paired it with psychedelics. So are you ready? Maybe take out a pen and paper if you want to take some notes, or write some notes in your phone app, or you can just listen and enjoy. So as we're going through the 7 levels of energy, I want you to think about each level of energy or each consciousness level as putting on a different pair of sunglasses. Now, each of these sunglasses are tinted in a different color. So if you put on a pair of red sunglasses and look through them, look through those red lenses, the world looks red, right? Your perception is painted in red. If you put on a pair of yellow tinted sunglasses, the world, your perception is yellow, and so on. So as we're going through this, I will identify the core thought, the core emotion, and the core action or result of each level of energy. I'm also going to touch on the advantages and disadvantages very briefly on each level of energy, because remember, there's no good or bad or right or wrong. All levels of energy are needed and necessary at different times. We just want to be using them consciously. And before we get started, I also want to note that every single one of us has access to all of these different types of energies in different amounts at different times, but we all are able to access all of them. And the amount of each level of energy that we have access to, which can be measured, I'm going to share about that with you at the end, but that energetic profile is completely unique to us and is dependent on things like our belief systems growing up, our experiences, and so on. So there's no right or wrong here. So let's get started with level 1. So we can think of this as putting on a pair of red sunglasses, right? Well, you got those red sunglasses on, the world looks red. As I mentioned, level 1 is the lowest level of consciousness or energy. Level 1 is that victim perspective. It's victim consciousness. When we are experiencing level 1 energy and looking through those red sunglasses, we think thoughts about how much we hate ourselves. Oh, it sounds so harsh, doesn't it? But it's true. And we think about how no matter what happens, we're going to lose. And the emotions that are associated with these types of victim thoughts revolve around hopelessness. So things like apathy, guilt, self-doubt, worry, fear, embarrassment. And as a result of these thoughts and emotions is, of course, lethargy, inaction, anxiety, low self-esteem, getting and feeling really stuck and unable to move forward. After all, when we have these red-colored victim sunglasses on, what is even the point of taking action? We know that nothing that we do is even going to make a difference. So why bother? Why try? And so we stay stuck. I know that when I first started my healing journey with therapy, psychedelics, and coaching, I was literally living in level 1 energy all of the time. And the thing is that I wasn't even aware of it. I wasn't even aware that there was other options available to me. This is just how I grew up. This is just how I was programmed. This level 1 energy was just the defense mechanism that I built up to life and coping with situations. So yeah, it's pretty amazing actually to see how far I have come and to see how far a lot of my clients have come in moving beyond this level 1 victim energy. And if you are living here, you know that there are also 6 other levels of consciousness that are available at any time in terms of how you want to show up. So level 1 sounds like a place that most of us don't want to be in. It sounds horrible. I know that when I was in it, it was really hard to get out, but it can be very beneficial during times when we need sympathy from others or we're not ready to start taking responsibility. So some of the times that I know level 1 energy is very beneficial to us is perhaps we have just gone through a death or a breakup and we just really need that sympathy and support and care from others, and we can't take any action in life. The only thing is we don't want to stay stuck there for too long. So let's move on to level 2. So we're going to put down those red colored glasses and we're going to put on these orange colored glasses, and the world looks orange. This is a slightly less catabolic energy level than level 1. Level 2 is considered this conflict consciousness. When we're seeing through these orange colored glasses, all we see is conflict. The core thoughts at level 2 are all about conflict. We tend to see the world as black or white, right or wrong, good or bad. There's no gray, there's no in between when we are looking through this lens. We are constantly thinking about how we can win or how we can be right or how we can prove others to be wrong. At level 2, we love to be right. It's the aim, it's the goal, it's everything when we are wearing these level 2 orange colored glasses. Because we are having these conflict related thoughts, we tend to feel a lot of anger, resentment, hatred even, greed, and we also love to blame others and deflect responsibility. So as a result of these thoughts and emotions, we tend to act in defiance, right? We're pretty rebellious at level 2. Because we're always right. We're always doing things the right way. We're right and everyone else is wrong. So we're just going to do things our way because everyone else is wrong. And the result for level 2 can be stress, disappointment, frustration, and struggle. Because we love to be right at level 2, we will do whatever it takes to prove that we're right and to assure that we are winning. We're very concerned with winning. So the advantage of level 2 is that we can actually get a lot done with this level 2 energy when you're like angry and fired up and it just lights a fire under your ass to get things done. But the disadvantage is that if we stay here for too long, we're going to be really dissatisfied in life. We're probably going to be pretty angry. We're going to be walking around really unsatisfied. We just have this like cloud of anger and hatred around us, which most people don't want to live there for too long. Okay, let's move on to level 3. So we're putting down the orange glasses and we're going to start seeing the world through these yellow sunglasses through level 3 consciousness. Level 3 is the gateway into our anabolic energy energy levels. However, it still does contain some catabolic elements. I like to think of level 3 as justification consciousness or a toleration consciousness, where we're really just justifying and tolerating a lot of things. So at level 3, we're starting to take some responsibility for our actions, behaviors, and emotions. If you often use the F word, and by the F word, I mean it's fine, you're probably living in level 3. You're probably settling for good enough, but you know in the back of your head that something better might be available to you, but this is fine for now. You're tolerating things, you're settling for things. These are the people who look for a silver lining. They try to find ways to release negativity, which can be an advantage at this level of consciousness. But in order to really keep things moving along and achieving those end goals, we just have our blinders on at level 3. We keep things moving forward. We're just focused on getting to the end result. So we might just tolerate for good enough, for it's fine, just to get to the finish line. So this level of consciousness is, of course, very common in work environments because it allows people to sweep things under the rug and just get done whatever they need to get done. It can also be seen, for example, in relationships, any type of relationships where the dynamic is not really working, but the people involved in the relationship are not ready to either separate or do the work to improve things. So while this level of consciousness helps us to move past stressors by sweeping them under the rug and focusing on the end results, eventually all of that stuff that we sweep under the rug gets piled up, and what happens is we trip. All of that stuff trips us up, and then we can get tossed back into those catabolic levels of energy. So even though it enables us to keep things going forward, it's a very slippery slope with level 3. So here's my not so secret. The number one tool in my toolkit, the thing that has changed my life for the better the most, aside from psychedelics, of course, is not therapy. It's not breath work. It's not meditation. It's not even the yoga I've been doing for 15 years. It's coaching. Because coaching is the most actionable tool that I have come across. A few years ago, I fired my therapist and hired a coach, and working with a coach helped me start moving in the direction I wanted to move. And I finally stopped feeling stuck. I fell so in love with coaching, even though I wanted to become a therapist at that time. I decided instead to get trained and certified as a professional coach. As a psychedelics informed life coach, I work with people who are on the psychedelic path, which is probably you if you're listening to this podcast. The Global Coaching Client Study from the International Coaching Federation shows most clients who work with a professional coach report improved work performance, more growth and opportunities, greater self-confidence, enhanced relationships, more effective communication skills, better work and life balance, and an improvement in wellness. According to the same study, 99% of people who were polled said that they were somewhat or very satisfied with the overall coaching experience. Coaching works. I see similar results amongst my clients every week. You can actually read their beautiful in-depth testimonials on my website at modernpsychedelics.net. Along with being psychedelics informed, my style is process oriented. We live in this outcome obsessed world where our default mode is to live life for the destination or the end result. But I have come to understand that the gifts are actually in the journey, and that's where we grow and learn and enjoy life the most. So that's why I equip my clients with tools and skills for the long game of life and the long game of medicine work. I'm currently onboarding new one-on-one clients into my coaching practice. So if this sounds like it would be supportive for where you're at, get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you. And you can click on the link in the show notes or head to modernpsychedelics.net/coaching. There's lots of info there for you along with those testimonials. I can't wait to connect with you. That's modernpsychedelics.net/coaching. Okay, let's go back to the episode. All right, so let's go to level 4 energies. We are now viewing the world through these green colored glasses. By the way, the colors have absolutely no significance whatsoever. I just chose them based on the colors of the rainbow for the purpose of giving you a visual example, but the colors have no significance. So I like to think of level 4 energy as compassion consciousness, or I don't know, I also feel like it's the consciousness of a therapist or something. And I'm going to tell you why. This is the level of caring, of service, of compassion, and helping others. Level 4 thoughts are really about concern for others. We want other people to win, and we're coming from a place of conditional love. Okay, conditional love. We're going to get to unconditional love later down the spectrum. But at level 4, we're operating from conditional love. And as a result, we do feel compassion, gratitude, that conditional love, care. And as a result, we're not really taking so much personally, and we're really there to be in service to others. True level 4 energy is completely selfless, but this is really rare. What is more common to see from my experience in coaching clients is a people-pleasing or codependent undercurrent to level 4 energy. I would say that probably 80% of my clients have a primary level 4 energy, which means that this is the type of energy they tend to operate within most of the time. And all of them struggle with putting themselves first. Part of that level 4 compassion energy, that care, that service energy also has to do with self-care and pouring that to yourself. But what I see is that people actually have a really hard time turning that level 4 energy inward. And what happens is they start to pour from an empty cup. And when that happens, again, there might be a risk to dip back into the more catabolic, destructive levels of energy, because we may start resenting our acts of service, or we might become frustrated or burnt out. So level 4 energy is very tricky. It's very nuanced, and it's very common in today's day and age. And I would say that this is probably the level of energy that I do the most amount of coaching work on, because of course we can only truly take care of others and be in service to others as much as we are in service to ourselves. There has to be a beautiful yin and yang balance of inward and outward expression of all of these energies. And when we are only expressing it outward and not giving any to ourselves, we're just going to completely deplete our energy. And I'll just give a really quick little tip for people who are navigating this level 4 people-pleasing energy. Start with just finding 5 minutes during your day for yourself. Just start with 5 minutes and see if you can build that and build that. And you can do whatever you would like in those 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. It just matters to start getting into the habit of actually giving as much as you give to others to yourself. And of course, if you're on a healing journey or on a journey of transformation, improving your life, becoming the person you would like to be, giving to yourself and loving yourself and caring for yourself is just so important. So that's all I will say on level 4. If you're listening and relating to that, know that you are definitely not alone. Okay, let's move on to level 5. This is my favorite level of energy. It is the level of energy that I have the most access to, and I just love talking about it. So looking through these blue colored glasses, level 5 consciousness is all about opportunity. To quote iPEC directly here, this moderate to high anabolic energy is found in the greatest leaders in all walks of life. When you experience level 5 energy, you no longer perceive situations and people as good or bad, right or wrong. And as a result, there's a sense of peace and confidence, because every situation or outcome is viewed as an opportunity to learn something that can help you adjust course and move forward. End quote. Yeah, I love this energy. As we are raising our consciousness here, we are less concerned with judging things and more concerned with creating opportunities. And with level 5, we know that as long as we are learning and as long as we are growing, we're winning. No matter what happens, whether we quote unquote win or lose, that doesn't matter as much as us learning and growing and taking every opportunity in life to grow and to become even more knowledgeable and skilled than we already are. The core thoughts at level 5 revolve around understanding others and finding win-win-win solutions that benefit everyone. This is how I approach modern psychedelics and my partnerships with them. I want everyone to win with modern psychedelics. It's like such a core value, and it is definitely a level 5 value. So that win-win-win solution is really about benefiting everyone. Since we feel a great deal of peace, confidence, and calm with level 5, the end result is acceptance, fulfillment, and a strong trust in the process. I think of level 5 as like a coaching energy, honestly. Like level 4 is that therapeutic energy. Level 5 is a coaching energy. And this is just my interpretation, not iPEC's, but that's probably why I make a great coach, because I do have a lot of this type of energy. This all sounds really great, right? We're like, ooh, I want more of that. But there is a downside to this opportunity consciousness. And that is this paralysis by analysis. People with a lot of this energy can see so many opportunities and just get overwhelmed with choices. And that sometimes can lead them to feel stuck and not take any action at all. Again, potentially leading us into more catabolic levels of energy. I can definitely relate to this. I mean, there's so many things that I want to do in life that sometimes I don't even know what to do. So I end up just sitting on the couch and watching TV. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but I'm sure they can. Okay, so things are about to get really psychedelic. Remember at the beginning how I said that this work pairs really beautifully with psychedelics. Level 6 and level 7 are very psychedelic levels of energy. So let's put on our purple glasses. Level 6 is oneness consciousness or unity consciousness. I know that has a new age reference to it, but at level 6, we really do feel deeply connected to the world and the people around us. We're truly in sync with the world and the people around us, and it shows in our actions. Since we're really all connected here, we want everyone to win and feel a sense of joy, fearlessness, and oneness. And as a result, we have access to really great wisdom. And that's because at level 6, we're able to tap into the flow state, which makes sense. Flow is literally feeling connected to the world around you and to what you are doing. So it makes sense that when we access these purple glasses, this level 6 energy, this oneness consciousness, that it is much easier to access flow state. This is the level of flow state. And to quote iPEC, at level 6, people tend to focus on experiencing the moment instead of trying to make sense of it, end quote. I love pointing that out because this is obviously a very psychedelic level of energy that many of us can tap into during psychedelic journeys. A lot of people also have told me that they feel this energy at group settings like retreats or workshops or even concerts and music festivals. I know that I have definitely felt that myself at festivals, but it's also completely possible to live life from this consciousness. I'm truly starting to see that more and more. And all of this sounds great again, and we all want more of this energy. But the downside is that people living here can often be perceived as ungrounded or out of touch, which I find really ironic because we're probably much more in touch with everything and everyone around us. But when, say, you have someone operating at level 6 energy and someone operating at level 2 energy, yeah, that level 2 person is probably going to think that level 6 person is completely ungrounded and completely out of touch. So again, there's advantages and disadvantages to each level of energy. It's just a matter of deciding what we want to consciously tap into in any given moment. And let's go to level 7. So this is the highest level of consciousness. And we're going to put on a pair of white colored glasses to see the world through level 7 energy. So at level 7, there is complete non-judgment, and we perceive winning and losing to be an illusion. There's no such thing as winning, and there's no such thing as losing. It all just is. The core thought at level 7 is simply, I am. I am. At level 7, we feel unconditional love for everyone and everything around us. So remember, level 4 was conditional love. At level 7, it's completely unconditional. We feel absolute passion for all of life's experiences, not just the good, but also the challenges, right? We feel absolute passion just to be alive, and we're finding joy in simply being alive. The result of this consciousness is creation and genius thinking. We're really connected to our intuition, and we can create something out of nothing that can benefit humanity and move people forward. Obviously, no one can live here 100% of the time. It is also obvious that psychedelics open us up to touch this level of consciousness and show us that it's possible. So the downside of level 7 energy is that nothing is seen as real. And again, we can come off as ungrounded and aloof to others. Okay, so there you have it, you guys. Those are the 7 levels of energy or consciousness as interpreted from iPEC. So as we integrate our psychedelic experiences and live a more psychedelic life, to me, that is simply in alignment with living a very highly anabolic lifestyle. And as I am coaching people, I'm coaching them through their catabolic energy blocks. We're uncovering catabolic belief systems, and we are making our way up that continuum, assuming that is what people want to do. Anyways, like like I said, as we integrate our psychedelic experiences more, we live this more highly anabolic life. And this has been the case for me. I can really feel myself accessing more level 6 and 7 energy, especially after 5-MeO. So this framework in coaching actually really allows me to integrate it in a grounded way. Like simply having this framework after some of my psychedelic experiences has been so useful because I can pinpoint what I've been tapping into. And then I have a framework to actually integrate that and be that and move into that. So that's the way that I love to use this with psychedelics. So, okay, this is all great, but how do we actually apply this knowledge? I want you to know that simply being aware of these 7 levels will start moving things forward for you. So I encourage you to check out the resources from iPEC that I'm going to link for you in the show notes. Get more familiar with these 7 levels of energy and understand how they show up for you. After you consume this information, you will start to notice your perception. And that is simply because we've often been so stuck in a default way of being and acting for so long that we don't even see any other options available to us. This framework gives us at least 6 other options available to us at any given time. So just being exposed to these different options gives us an element of choice. There is also another way to understand specifically how these levels of energy show up for you and in what levels, and that is through the Energy Leadership Index Assessment. So this is a tool that I use with my clients. It's a research validated tool, and it's just a 15 to 20 minute assessment that you take that takes a snapshot of where your consciousness is based on your perception. And it gives us a understanding of how much each level of energy shows up in what amount and in what circumstances. It's a wonderful tool. The ELI assessment is priced at around $500 to take. Like, this is really powerful. And the thing I love about it is actually it works for totally corporate people, executive coaches use it, but it also is pretty spiritual. And like I said, works really nicely with psychedelics. But basically, I have all of my coaching clients start off with this. Like, I provide it as a sign-on bonus for them simply because it's foundational to the coaching work that I do. And a lot of my clients receive profound benefits from just this assessment itself. Remember earlier how I said just being exposed to this information will start moving things forward for you. So even before we start coaching, people will come to our first session after we've done their Energy Leadership Index Assessment debrief, and they'll start to tell me about how their awareness of their energy has increased and how they're noticing so much more, and how through just the noticing, they're starting to choose differently. And by choosing differently, they are starting to experience life differently. So this is really powerful stuff, because not only does it give us an education and an awareness of core energy, it also provides really deep insights into beliefs and energetic blockages that are keeping us stuck. So a fun fact here, and this is from an iPEC article that I grabbed, the Forbes Coaches Council recommends the Energy Leadership Index assessment as a assessment for highly recommended executives. So it's super flexible. If you're interested in learning more, like I said, I'll leave some stuff in the show notes. If you want to take an ELI debrief with me, we can do that. But I would actually recommend just learning more about my coaching program, because by signing on to that, you get this as a bonus. And we actually do coaching around your specific catabolic energy block, which is really, really powerful. And if you want to learn more about my one-on-one coaching program, I'm going to link it for you in the show notes, or you can go to modernpsychedelics.net/coaching. Or if you are ready to apply to work with me and get on a phone call with me to see if this is what you would like right now, you can go to modernpsychedelics.net/apply. So please share this powerful information with anyone in your life who might benefit from understanding just the choices that are available to them, starting from the root, their consciousness and their energy. So one of the quotes I love from, I think it's Harv T. Eker is his name. He wrote like some finance books, is, in order to change the fruit, you have to change the root. And this provides us with an amazing framework of how we can start addressing the fruit from the root. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you're as excited about the 7 levels of energy as I am. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to and supporting the show. To stay in touch, sign up for my mailing list, which can be found in the show notes or on modernpsychedelics.net. If this episode sparked something within, please let me know by leaving a review of the Modern Psychedelics podcast on Apple and Spotify. This really helps to share these messages with those who need them, which is the whole reason why I do what I do. And if you haven't already, come join the ongoing conversation over on Instagram with other beautiful souls. We have an incredible and conscious community over at the handle Modern Psychedelics. And don't forget that the work begins after you come back down to earth. And I'm standing shoulder to shoulder, doing it with you. This episode is produced in collaboration with Film with Integrity. They are a values-forward production studio providing end-to-end production from concept to content. They do event video, documentary series, commercial and marketing videos, and of course, podcast production. If you are working on a project that deserves quality of production and content without sacrificing heart and soul, visit filmwithintegrity.com to check out their beautiful work and get in touch with their team.